We're talking Utah Utes today on Sharpen the Point. 2024, it was 5-7 season, just a major disappointment as there were high hopes coming into the season, but those all went out the window with Cam Rising going down, and he was really a key piece with his injury luck just continuing to be poor. Head coach Kyle Whittingham enters his 21st season, making a change on the offensive side of the football, bringing in Jason Beck. He's a former New Mexico offensive coordinator. He was a longtime assistant for Bronco Mendenhall. And I think he was the key to those UVA offenses where Brennan Armstrong put up such big stats under Robert Anae, because we saw Robert Anae and Brennan Armstrong reunite at NC State and not quite be able to get there again. Quarterback-wise, Cam Rising looked like his old self for about 6 quarters, throwing for 7 touchdowns before a freak hand injury on the sideline. It just put him away for the rest of the season, outside of a failed attempt to return where he was clearly ill-equipped to do so, throwing multiple interceptions and just not looking like himself. Everyone else in this room struggled, and the offense suffered because of it. They just weren't prepared. Now, with Rising gone, they bring in a playmaker with dual threat ability who comes with Beck from New Mexico and Devin Dampier. Dampier has unmatched athleticism at the position after rushing for nearly 1,200 yards and 19 touchdowns a season ago, while adding nearly 2,800 yards and 12 touchdowns in the air. Those stats make him one of just 5 players since 2016 to have at least 2,500 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing in a season. The other 4, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and Jaden Daniels. Now, that's not bad company to have. Granted, he did it in the Mountain West, and those other guys did it in more power conferences. But he still needs to improve upon his decision-making, as a 1-to-1 TD to interception ratio and sub 60% completion percentage is just not going to cut it in the Big 12. His athleticism really makes up for it in some aspects, though. And how his game translates up to the next level here is going to be determined. But the Big 12 isn't exactly a bastion of strong defenses. They do have some better playmakers than they used to, but it's still not optimal. It's not the toughest road of games from the defensive aspect. His playmaking ability is still going to be must-watch television, as on any play he can really do something you won't want to miss. Isaac Wilson, he's going to remain the backup. He was thrust into action last year and struggled mightily as youth and inexperience caught up with him. His development is going to be important as Dampier's style of play makes him susceptible to more contact than a pocket passer, which gives him increased risk. And Wilson, he feels that this offense suits him better, as it's more similar to what he ran in high school compared to what they played a year ago. Running back-wise, Michael Bernard, he capped his career with his best season yet and doing all he could to keep the offense going by clearing 1,000 yards on the ground, but his 6 total touchdowns showed how inept the offense was. Nearly all of the room turns over and is replaced by transfers that are going to need to step into prominent roles right away. Tops among them is definitely Wayshawn Parker from Washington State. He comes in off a successful true freshman season where he accounted for over 800 total yards of offense and 5 touchdowns in an air raid-esque system that limited his touches overall. And he chose to follow his running back coach here to provide some continuity. And he's going to see an increased workload here as he makes strides in his development. I expect him to have a big season, but he's not going to soak up all of the production here. Nakari Rogers, he comes from New Mexico, also with Beck, and he's going to see the field plenty given his experience in this offense. Pass catching wise, with poor quarterback play comes poor pass catching numbers. And while Dorian Singer did put up a respectable 700 yards, he only found pay dirt 1 time on the season. Every other wide receiver was absolutely atrocious, and they're going to be improved upon this year, as it's again going to fall on a host of transfers to pick up the pieces. Ryan Davis, here's a theme. He comes from New Mexico. Tobias Merriweather from Cal, Creed Whittemore from Mississippi State, and Nate Johnson from Vandy. He was previously the quarterback at Utah, so you'll remember him. And Larry Simmons from Southern Miss, and Justin Stevenson from Wyoming. They fully transformed this room. Davis is going to immediately slot in as the top option, given his familiarity with the offense and established connection with Dampier, having put up nearly 750 yards and 3 touchdowns last season, which would have led Utah in both categories. Merriweather brings unique size to the room at 6'5", in which he was clearly has talent. Like he He's been given plenty of chances by other programs that have been willing to bring him in. He's just yet to live up to those expectations. I believe he starts at one outside spot, but he's definitely on shaky ground to keep that role, given how he's performed over the last few seasons. Whittemore, he's my favorite to be in the slot after redshirting last year once he hit his 4-game limit out of Mississippi State. And there's going to be plenty of rotation with the other transfers factoring in. Then you have returner Dadron Zipperer. He's going to fight for time as well. This is not going to be a concentrated group until midway through the season at best, when they can really establish a rotation. The tight end position has been a staple of the offense for a long time here, with a laundry list of exemplary players that were productive. Brant Keithy was another one in that list, but he just could not stay on the field, similar to Rising. When he was, though, he was super productive with over 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. But he now graduates. Landon King's going to depart in the portal, and that makes things look bleak for the position. But this offense is not one that utilizes the tight end like the old one did. They did switch Otto Tia from Utah State from wide receiver to tight end. He is a massive human being. He was too slow to operate on the outside. I think he finds a lot more success over the middle with his big frame. He's not, like I said, he's not fleet of foot. That's why he wasn't great on the outside for Utah State, although he did do a very nice job of high-pointing balls in the red zone for them. It's going to do him really well to get these more interior matchups on safeties and linebackers rather than being on those faster corners. Offensive line-wise, with all the turnover at the skill positions, it is a massive boost for this offense to have all 5 primary contributors returning along the line. They need to learn a new scheme, and they're going to run at a much faster pace, but with their experience together, they should be in great shape to be a driving force for the success of this offense. The tackles are the stars of the show here. They are proven All-American level players who projected to be top draft talents in left tackle Caleb Lomu and Spencer Fano at right tackle. They could end up really being the first pair ever from Utah taken in the first round next season, which was an odd stat. I didn't believe that would be possible given how much success the Utes have had over the years. Lomu has a wide body with great power at the point of attack, and it makes him have all the makings of a big-time NFL left tackle here. Fano, he has light feet and the capability to be a chess piece, moving to either tackle spot or guard, which gives him a high floor. It's what his projectability is all about, and he does a great job in zone blocking, where he's effective at picking off defenders in space. The interior of Tanoa Togai, Jaron Kump, and Michael Mokafisi. Gotta love those Hawaiian/Samoans that the Utes bring in. Will need to continue their development to further improve the run game. This is one of, if not the top unit in the country heading into the season, and they have depth behind these top guys. And it's really, they're going to play great. Like the expectations should be through the ceiling for this offensive line. Defensive line-wise, compared to years past, the run defense and pass rush were lacking last year. That was partly due to injuries, but also the bar has been set so high that even in a down year, it was serviceable enough to keep them in games. At defensive tackle, they lost 2 veteran starters, but fortunately have 2 guys with starting experience ready to step into those vacancies in Aliki Vimahi and Dallas Vakalahi. Vimahi was banged up for much of the last year, but will play a crucial role as a veteran leader for a younger room. And Vakalahi, he showed significant promise last season and is going to be counted on to play a much larger role now. Even though he's only in his 2nd season after his mission, he is also taking on more of a leadership role. Logan Fano, he's the top option on the edge after starting most of the games last season and is primed to lead the room. He was banged up to begin last year, and it led to a slow start for him, but he did show continued improvement throughout the season, and he has been healthy during the offseason. He's really primed for a big one here. Fano is going to be joined in the rotation by Paul Fitzgerald, Cash Dillon, and John Henry Daly. Fitzgerald's the top guy for me, the top guy that's going to start on the outside across from Fano. As of now, he played more late in the season last year, and they believe he's made a leap in the offseason. He was previously very productive at Utah State with an 8-sack season to his name. Dillon had a lot of positive buzz around him, as well as he looks to take a big step forward in year 2. Linebacker-wise, outside of the offensive line, the linebacker unit is the best room on this team. They do lose Kareem Reed, but they get Lavani Damuni back, and after he missed last season due to an injury. And the top three is going to be Damuni, Lander Barton, and Jonathan Hall, which on paper is one of the best in the conference so long as they can stay healthy this year. Damuni led the team in tackles in 2023 and is fully healthy, having participated in the spring. He was a welcome addition back to this room. And then Barton had some ups and downs as he was tasked with more responsibility due to the injuries around him, but he did hit his stride over the final month of the season. He showcased his playmaking ability in that time, and he's going to need to continue to develop to make his NFL dreams a reality here. Hall was very raw a year ago after converting from safety at the end of camp, earning valuable reps in season out of necessity. He has exciting potential, and with an entire offseason to prepare his body and mind for the position, there should be massive growth shown here. Defensive back-wise, the secondary was its usual smothering, self-locking, locking down opponents' passing attacks here. But per usual, we'll need to replace plenty of pieces. They lose two of their top corners and a starting safety off of that unit. The safety pairing of Tal Johnson and Rabbit Evans is a good place to start. Johnson made the transition to free safety a year ago, and while there were growing pains, it was good, and so it was nothing wrong with his play. He's more comfortable in that spot now after an offseason and playing time there, and his confidence is going to lead to more decisive decision-making. Johnson's range and vision are really going to aid him in continuing his upward trajectory here. Evans came on strong late in the year, playing well, and with a quality offseason where he added weight, he appears ready for an expanded role this season. At corner and nickel, Smith Snowden, Scooby Davis, and Donovan Saunders from Texas A&M, they're going to form that top of the room. Snowden's the top guy in the room, but may rotate between the inside and outside spots as they decide how to deploy him. He displays a blend of tight coverage and playmaking ability on the ball that is difficult to find on corners. And Davis played a bigger role than expected last season and showed solid potential. Now that he's going to start on the outside, he needs to continue to take steps forward. Then Saunders, Blake Cotton from UC Davis, and Jeremiah Caldwell from Garden City Community College all possess great size and length. Saunders, though, is the biggest of the bunch as a rare 6'4" corner who Utah heavily pursued earlier in his career, giving him the nod for me. Looking at the schedule and outlook for the season, I believe Beck is more the catalyst behind the success we have seen for quarterbacks under Bronco Mendenhall than the others, similar to my belief in Tino Sunseri rather than Mike Shanahan with Curt Cignetti. The rushing potential of Dampier with Parker is off the charts, and while there are questions with the weapons on the outside, is not going to be the primary way that they try to win games here. Add in how good the line is, and they will be forced on the ground to be reckoned with. The secondary is going to continue to be solid, and the linebackers are outstanding. The question is, how is the front line going to perform? If they make the jumps that the staff expects, that there should be not much drop-off here. Trusting a Utah defense to be good in any given season for the last 20 years probably is an easy thing to do. Look at the schedule. At UCLA, I think it's a win. I have zero trust in Nico Iamaleava. Granted, like I mentioned, Tino Sunseri's there, and he is a whisperer. Cal Poly, that's an easy win. At Wyoming, why in the world are they playing in Laramie? I don't understand the Big 12 teams. Y'all got to stop scheduling these road games, man. Y'all are too good for it. That's a win because Wyoming stinks and it's early in the season, but you shouldn't be playing a road game. Texas Tech, what a fun way to start Big 12 play. These tackles, the offensive tackles for Utah against these Red Raider defensive ends that they paid a lot of money for is going to be an awesome matchup. That's a coin flip game for me. I think Texas Tech could be really good. If they're not, Joey McGuire's getting the boot real quick. At West Virginia, Morgantown, also a tough place to play, but it's early in the season. They're going to need time to gel with Rich Rod turning over the entire roster. I think it's an easy win early in the year. Hot start for the Utes. Arizona State, that is a massive game for conference title implications. I think that's a coin flip. They have plenty going on. They've got good players coming back. Jordan Tyson, Sam Levitt. They made the playoff for a reason a year ago. Their roster is getting increasingly better year on year. At BYU, This is my favorite, one of my favorite games of the year. I've never been more upset than when they got rid of it. It is the Holy War. I'm so glad it's back. I can't wait to watch it every year. The loss of Retzlaff means a win for the Utes. Even though Provo at night, things do get weird. But I think Retzlaff is decently enough better than their backup options for them to lose this game. And Utah just out physical this team. Colorado win. Cincinnati win. At Baylor, coin flip game. Sawyer Robertson, very good quarterback. They have a very good, talented run game with Bryson Washington. Josh Cameron returns on the outside. Love their weapons. They're going to be a good team. That makes it a coin flip. Kansas State, another coin flip game. If Avery Johnson's developed, they're even tougher than they would have been. Dylan Edwards, good running back. Jace Brown, quality wide receiver. Defense always stout under those guys. So I think that's a coin flip. It's a fun game. At Kansas, I'll lean win. Jalen Daniels is capable of bringing out weird things and making plays. I just don't know if he'll be healthy for the last game of the season. In one of the odder scheduling quirks I have ever seen, the Utes play at 3 environments where strange things happen on a yearly basis. We talk about it ad nauseum. Provo, Laramie, and Morgantown. All weird places to play where teams win, like the home teams win games that they shouldn't. They're going to be favored in all 3 of those games, but like I said, strange things happen in those stadiums. I have faith that last year was a strange set of circumstances, and it's going to turn around quickly here. 8 wins is a safe floor, with the upside for double digits and a conference title game berth if things can click well for Dampier.